Looking back on last week, I mean, obviously looking at the schedule, when you have two quad one games on the road and two very, very tough places to play, to be able to get that Nevada one was great. Really proud of just the way we played. It was a tough environment, made some big plays. And then moving on to San Diego State, they're really tough at home. We rebounded the ball well, we turned them over well, but we cut it to three several times and just had some turnovers and just couldn't quite capitalize. So give them credit, and we move on to a big week. We've got two quad one teams in this building tomorrow, and an amazing opportunity. Both teams are one game out of first place, vying for a championship and vying for seeding in the conference tournament. So a really, really good opportunity, and looking forward to it.
We tend to try and overanalyze, every single game. That's what we do. But it was just 1 week. Was there anything you learned just out of those two road games, though, that maybe we didn't notice 2 weeks ago? Is there anything you're trying to start to adjust because of last week?
Not really, no. Not that I could think of.
Mashburn's struggles, is that something that is you just kind of, again,
I think he's not making shots, I mean, I think, but he makes two big ones versus Nevada, so we don't win that game if he doesn't make those back-to-back shots. He missed shots for San Diego State. Was that, they're doing, his doing. I mean, he's had the ability to make those shots over the first couple of years that he's been here, but came back yesterday with a great practice, was extremely confident. So I don't think it's anything more than that.
His minutes actually, they've been down anyway. Like, it isn't like you're playing him to 30-plus minutes like the past couple of years. So you've already started to make some of those adjustments. Is that in any way affecting him? Is he okay with the idea that he's only playing about 23 minutes the last couple of games? Or?
I haven't asked him. Nevada, he was in foul trouble, and he was ready to go. And, I think versus San Diego State, he understands, like, if he's not making shots, we got to, as the program continues to grow, when you have depth, you got to look at all options all the time. So I don't think that's the reason why he's missing a shot. I just think he's missing a shot. I think he's kind of going through it a little bit, but I also think he was ready to go and confident enough to make those shots when he needed to down the stretch just 2 games ago. So it wasn't like it was that long ago.
It's been crazy the conference has with the parity, so to speak. Has anything surprised you in with this race, like that you probably didn't see going into it?
No, I think it's a great conference. I think it's very obvious as you just look at the records. I mean, it's all so bunched up. I mean, fighting for not only a championship, but fighting for a bye. I mean, how's it all going to sort out? I got my brothers texting me about wanting to come to Vegas for the conference tournament. They're like, what day are you going to play? I'm like, I have no idea. We're trying. I promise you we're trying. So it's just really competitive. I think programs are, coaches are committed to it. I think administrations are seeing the value in pouring money into basketball, and especially we have an opportunity right now with the Pac-2 being what it is, to where we could take over the West. I was just thinking about it the other day. I mean, I made the comment when I got here, I thought this was one of the best fan bases in the West. I truly believe you've got us, Gonzaga, San Diego State, and probably Arizona, then maybe Utah State. I think those 5 are the best venues in the West. Tough places to play. I mean, Viejas, for anyone who's there the other day, that was really loud. And I think that's somewhat of a credit to our guys, too, that we've been able to build it to where we are somewhat of a good opportunity for these home teams. So great conference, and so much room to grow and so much upside.
Coach, you mentioned after the game the other night that you need to look at JT more. Is that something we'll see moving forward?
Well, the players need to throw them the ball more. I can promise you the emphasis from the sideline is that for sure. And, the way that San Diego State was guarding, they were really switching all ball screens, so making you play one-on-one, and that wasn't really working. So, we continued to harp to the guys to throw it to JT. If they don't see it, shame on them. I mean, because he's shooting such a high percentage. So is Nelly. And Nelly obviously may not be as fluid down there as he is, but you're going to get opportunities to get guys in foul trouble, and naturally most teams don't have as much front court depth as they do back court depth.
What do you do the second time around with CSU, or how has both of you guys have changed?
Yeah, it feels like a long time ago. What was it, January 2nd? So we both kind of feel like different teams. They're really good. They're obviously Isaiah Stevens, one of the best players in the country. They did a great job of adding, certain pieces to, their system. They fit very, very well. They've bounced back. And last year was a clunky year for them because of all the injuries and stuff. But now they're a very, very tough out. So I'm sure they'll do some different things first, second time around, just like we will look at some things and see what we can do.
This time of year, it seems like every game is make or break. Like every game has an effect on your postseason or on the conference race. I'm just curious, is that at all taxing or emotionally, just mentally on your team?
I don't think so. I think it starts from the top of just, I'm sure it's in the back of their minds, but they probably don't read stuff as much as we do. We were all a little out there when we were in college, right? So, I think the coaches, starting from me all the way down, it's always been kind of a one-day mentality. And you have to have that in today's world of so many highs and then so many huge lows. And the pendulum does not swing as much as I think we all think it does on the internet. So I think after 26 games, we've put ourselves in a position to play meaningful games. One game out of first place, conference tournament seedings, postseason play. All that's great. There's a lot of teams that are not doing that right now. So you've got to embrace it more than anything and enjoy the position that you put yourself in.
Coach, you have 5 games left, and it's your third year, and if things fall right tonight, Utah State beats San Diego State tonight, you guys control your destiny for at least a share of the Mountain West title. Did you think you'd be here this fast?
That would imply we have to win 5 games in a row. So that's a hell of a positive outlook, Rob. I appreciate your approach all the time. I love the direction of the program. I don't necessarily look at the end result. I always look at just kind of progress. And from year 1, when we got here, I thought we made great progress. To year 2, certainly great progress. I think we continue to do that. And I think it's all around. It's not just the record. It's the resources, the investment, the commitment. Eddie's been great. All those things. We want to. People always say to me, "Oh, we're better than the Big Ten, the Pac-12," and I always kind of say, "Pump your brakes." We got to continue. If we want to be a top 25 team, we got to continue to improve these resources and the what goes into this program. And it certainly helps when you've had the crowds that we've had, because we all know every athletic department's dealing with budget issues and all those things. So I'm proud of the progress, absolutely. And it's been a fun ride, and hopefully we continue to move forward.
Donnie struggled against San Diego State. Was that how much that was his ankle, and was there anything else that maybe led to that?
He said it was his ankle, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I thought he was moving around all right, but I don't feel his pain, and he's normally really good at the basket, so I'm sure it had a little something to do with it. Maybe you're playing against a big, long, tough team, and maybe you favor it a little bit. That's normal. But he looked good in practice yesterday, so. Hopefully that was just kind of a one-off. There was, and then he missed a layup, and then he cut the tape off during a timeout. I was like, you didn't shoot the layup with your ankle. But, again, he's never been one to, he's got a high tolerance for pain, and he's really tough. So he was fighting through it.
I know there's going to be big swings from one game to the other in terms of single stats, but first time you played San Diego State, you guys tied a program record with 14 block shots. You had 0 block shots on Friday. For one stat specifically to swing that much, was it something they were doing? Was it something you guys were doing? Can you pinpoint why?
I can't. I don't. No, I have no idea. They weren't doing anything differently. I didn't think we'd get 14 blocks, but I thought we certainly should have had more of a presence down there than we did. But I can't say it's one thing.
What's your biggest challenge against Colorado State? What do you feel like you had to control that post area, the three-point shot? They were offering the threes. The post guys had some good points.
Yeah, I mean, Cartier played really well against us the first time. You know, they're a really balanced team. I can't say there's one thing that you have to stop, and that means you're going to win the game. I mean, I think their offensive system is moderately similar to Air Force. It's got Princeton concepts to it. I think Isaiah Stevens just always makes the right play. Scott is kind of an unsung guy on their roster. I think he's a really good player. Nick Clifford, you know, he's got pro potential. He's got really good size. Cartier, like we talked about, really hurt us. So there's not one thing. When you're playing a team that's really, really good like this, there's a million things that go into it.
You've been asked a lot about like who the leader is on the team, and they all lead in different ways, this and that. Is there sometimes when you'd almost rather an Isaiah Stevens be on the team where you know who your one leader is, the one guy that's going to get them going, as opposed to the team you have, which has probably 3 or 4 guys that at a given time can kind of be that guy in the locker room or be that guy in the huddle? Is there any
I'm sure Colorado State has more leaders than you would think. You know what I mean? I think I think my job, I've always said this, is to kind of set what the mission is and to be very, very clear of how we obtain, you know, setting forth the path to that. And if there's any confusion, that's my fault. And it takes time, and you've got to build clarity of what the standards are, locker room, on campus, on the court, terminology, all of those things. And if there's any confusion whatsoever, that's my fault. So my whole goal is to be very, very clear and then let them run with it. You know, I think the games are their time to go, you know, and the more I do it, it's just providing clarity to what we're trying to do. So I think everybody has different types of leadership qualities. You may not speak a lot, but you could still be a good leader by the way that you act on a daily basis. You know, so I don't think, well, for one, I think after 26 games, I'm pretty proud of where we're at, so I don't think there's any problems necessarily. But I think the character collectively in the locker room is pretty strong. And it's been strong for the 2.5+ years that we've been here. So we continue to get guys who, you got an opinion on something, talk to me about it. Like my door is always open. So they all lead in different ways. I'd love to have 13 leaders, but they all with an understanding of, hey, this is what Coach wants, and let's all do it together.
You know, it seems like JT is the freshman of the week every week almost. And I know you've talked about him, how he plays and stuff like that, but how far has he exceeded your expectations?
I really liked him. I'm going to be honest with you. I still remember Geoff was in our gym, and this is not a BS story. He asked me, who would you pick freshman of the year? And I told him, JT. I really believe that. And I said, I don't know the other guys. I mean, Deion Thomas is terrific. A lot of the times with freshmen, it's how much do they play. But we always really liked him. We did. And he's a high-character kid. He's easy to coach. He's ready for the moment. You know, so I think that's the thing that you'd never, ever know with freshmen is you see the talent, but how are you going to be when we're throwing a million plays at you, pick and roll coverages, class, all these other things? Like, you don't know. Sometimes they wear down. He doesn't seem to be wearing down. So I think he's certainly one of the best freshmen in the league, but I also think he's one of the best players in the league.
He seems like he's getting stronger.
Yeah.
I guess along those lines, this is sort of the fun question that usually is saved for the end of the year, but scouts are coming to see him now. NIL world is what it is. Do you start having discussions like in an advisory role in any way about what he's doing next year, or do you try hard to not have any next year discussions with these guys?
Yeah, with young guys, I stay away from it. You know, the older guys, as you get towards the end of the year, they maybe think about it a little bit more. You know, when the time comes, I mean, I think the process now is to get feedback and all those things. And I'll certainly give my opinion when the time is right. But I have always said to all of these guys, because they're all on one-year contracts. It's just the reality of this thing right now is, increase your value, increase the program's value. And he's doing that, and hopefully we collectively as a coaching staff have provided a great opportunity and an experience for them, as well as get them better to where they feel like, okay, if this is an opportunity moving forward, this is the right one. And it's unique now. It is. It's just it's year to year. So I don't stress about it a whole lot. I tell them, okay, if you want to play in the NBA, this is what you need to do. We're here to support you, and so on. But it's going to be every year, unfortunately, and it just kind of is what it is.
And this is a league, in your opinion, that can highlight a player or two to the point where the NBA is going to see them. If they can play, they can do it out of the Mountain West.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, Roddy was in the NBA. I mean, Robinson from Fresno, I know he's been in the NBA. To me, it's not necessarily about level. To me, and this is why even I took the New Mexico job, is I wanted to be a have, not a have-not in the league. Doesn't mean there aren't really good programs in the league. There are, but I believe New Mexico is one of the best jobs in the league. Well, for these players, go to the league where you can be one of the top 10 players in the league. Because you're going to separate yourself and you're going to build stats and you're going to get notoriety and you're going to do that. Where you can go to a different situation within the league and you may not be an all-conference player and you may not. And we have a lot of guys, there's a lot of guys in the Mountain West that are like that. And so you try to give them your honest feedback. But certainly with JT, I have not done that recently.
Is Mountain West a 6-bid league, you think?
We'll see in 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, I think it's there's a lot of good metrics. It's certainly depends on schedules and all those things. I mean, I think if the season ended right now, which it's not going to end right now, I wish it would end right now. That'd be nice, but it's not going to end right now. There's so many things that could happen, though. I mean, there's some really good programs. I mean, since I've been in the league, there's been 4 NCAA in year 2 and 2 NIT teams. So that's legit postseason. And as I've said over and over again, we have a great opportunity to continue to elevate all of these programs to where we can be the marquee programs, certainly in our conference in the West.
Having fun yet?
Am I having fun? No, I have.
Remember I asked you that a while back, and I said,
I don't remember this morning, but yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it right now.
You're kind of on a roll off the bench where you're averaging double figures, I think, in the last however many games it's been. But are you comfortable in your role right now, even though it is off the bench?
I mean, yeah, I'd rather start, but coach wanted me to come off the bench. I come off the bench.
Tell me how that Friday night and Jaden Ledee was. I mean, he's so physical, and you, for the most part, a couple times he got everybody on Friday night, but for the most part, you were banging with him there and playing defense against him as well as anybody that night. What was that experience like going against Jaden Ledee on Friday night?
It's tough. He relies on his strength so much, so he's a physical game. He tries to get close to the basket. He's working on his mid-range too. He can shoot a little bit, but it was all around the game was a tough game.
how much are you looking forward to Wednesday? Colorado State didn't see the whole you the first time around, so.
Yeah, it's definitely get back because we lost them last time at Colorado State. I had a bad game, so I'm excited to beat them at home.
I know House is the big wrestling guy, but you're like a professional wrestler against Ledee. I mean, I hadn't really seen you play defense that aggressively. Is that something that Coach talked to you about beforehand? Like, you got to get in there and trade some paint with this guy.
Just know it's Ledee. He was on that All-American, some Naismith list or something. So I gotta prove myself against guys like that. So it was a great challenge. I think I tried to get at him, but they won the game, so it don't really matter.
Do you think you proved yourself as a low post defender with that?
No, I don't think. I think it's a continuous thing every game. Try to do it.
Do you like that? You like to get in there big, or you like, let's go?
Well, whatever coach need me to do, to be honest. Whatever, it's big on the triple line anywhere.
Okay.
I'm ready.
It seems your shooting has gotten better as well. Little by little, it seems like your confidence is getting up, your shooting percentage, you're shooting threes. I like the little arrow thing that you do. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think everybody watching the game loves that. But What do you attribute that to? I mean, just being focused, coming off the bench, you're watching. It seems like you're getting better.
It's just confidence to see it going. It just brings more confidence and just reps, practice. That's all. Just working on my game every day.
So you guys had the 2 big road games last week. I don't know if you guys look at it as a week-by-week kind of thing, or if it's just even less than that in the game-by-game. But what was last week a good week for the program, or was it a bad one because the last one was a loss?
It was okay. We got 1 win, 1 loss. I'm never happy about losses. Every game we go to, I'm trying to win, no matter who we play. So it's something disappointing to lose the game, but it's nothing we can do about it no more. It's a big game against Colorado State. They're ranked, coming to the pit, so we gotta get that one.
What's that locker room like in terms of the game to game and this league being no rest? I mean, you had the Nevada game. You guys really needed a big road win. You guys got it. You guys had a big game against San Diego State. It didn't go your way. Now you have another ranked team coming in. It's no rest, no time off between games. What's that locker room like in terms of like the competition in this league? Are you guys up for every game?
Yeah, it's the competition is pretty good. Mountain West is doing pretty good this year. Especially every game is a tough game, so it's what we want. I'd rather do this than play against teams that I know is for sure a win. So I'd rather do this.
You guys, with this deep into the conference race, you guys are near the top. How exciting is that to try to play your way to possibly getting a piece of the conference pie?
It's I need that ring, so it's definitely a goal. I know we better than a lot of teams in this conference. I know we can compete with anybody, so it's a goal definitely to win the conference.
Mashburn is a pretty thoughtful guy. I mean, he's been around for a long time. He's a leader on the team. Look, you struggled earlier in the year. Now he's kind of going through a slump. Do the two of you ever exchange notes, talk about how to snap yourself out of it?
I'm not trying to make it a big thing, I'm trying to help him a little bit, after he does something, trying to encourage him, trying to give him some confidence. But I think it's something that you got to figure out yourself, like I did myself, kind of. So, but I think he got it. He's a good player.
How'd you figure it out?
It just play, practice, go hard every day, work on my game. It's not easy thing to do, but it's something you gotta figure out yourself.
What's been the funnest thing about this season, the conference part of the season? How it's such a roller coaster ride.
It's every season brings you never know what happens. Every game is a different game. It's fun being around the guys on this team. It's definitely fun experience.
I've seen a few bracketology things where New Mexico's in line to play possibly Dayton. Have you ever think about that? Maybe
that would be fun. I told coaches they gotta schedule that game for non-conference, but I would be excited. I got a lot of guys on that team that I consider friends.